Do you want to stand out in the UX world? I keep hearing things about building a personal brand, but what in the hell does that even mean? Do you think that having some catchy logo or phrase is going to make you stand out in the job market? I'm here to tell you it's going to take a little bit more than that. There are actually 7 proven factors that you need to build a strong personal brand. And I'm going to break those elements down for you today. I'm going to give you a plan on how to apply these principles from the book Primal Branding to your own personal brand development. Plus, I have a bonus element to help others act upon your personal brand. Let's dive right in. Why does having a personal brand even matter? As a UX researcher or a UX designer, you must stand out in this competitive field. And I want to talk about how to bring your personal brand alive. And if the phrase personal brand kind of feels icky to you, I get it. I hear you. I like the way that Gary Vee moves the narrative a little bit. He removes the stigma of creating a personal brand. Gary says, instead of thinking of it as your personal brand, think of it as your reputation. You want to build the best reputation for yourself, right? Today, I'm going to do a deeper dive into the book Primal Branding by Patrick Hanlon. It's a very fascinating read if you want to do it yourself, but I get it. There's not a lot of time, so I'm breaking this book down for you to save you time and for you to understand how to apply these principles to building out your own personal and professional brand. But I'm going to take it one step further. I'm going to tell you how you can apply these principles as a UX professional. I have this all wrapped up for you in a framework that you can get from me for free. All you have to do is type Primal in the chat, and I will send over this framework that you can work through to define your personal brand. So let's start off by looking at some logos. Here's the first one. Look familiar? This is Nike. The next one, this is Disney, obviously. And then this one, this is Apple. You know what these logos represent. You have seen them before. These are a key identifier for these companies. Now, let's look at some catchphrases. Just do it. That's from Nike. The happiest place on earth. That's from Disney. And think different. That's from Apple. Catchphrases help identify and define a company's brand. But logos and catchphrases are not all that you need for a successful brand. There are other elements that bubble up to the surface that help a company stand out. And in our case, help our personal brand stand out. I'm going to deep dive into all of these elements today as I walk through the book Primal Branding. Now, more than ever, the job market sucks. Let's face it. And it's so important right now for you to have a personal brand so that you stand out amongst the sea of other people going for a new job. Even if you have a job, you just don't know what's going to happen. You might want to find a different job, or you might be up for a promotion, or you might be interested in speaking at a conference. If you want to learn more about what conference organizers are looking for in a conference speaker, I have a video about that, so check that out after you watch this. I have a truth bomb for you. Your work and your professional accomplishments are not going to speak for you. Nope. Nope. Afraid not. However, your personal brand will. It is critical now more than ever to get ahead of your personal brand. Build the brand the way you want to and control the narrative about you. Now, I have a quote I'd like to share with you. Your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Ooh, that's some powerful stuff right there. What it's saying is you need to control your reputation. You don't want to be known as the asshole UX person, do ya? Or the person who does half-ass work. No. So building a positive, influential brand is in your control. And it's time to seize that control. Whether you're in your dream UX job right now or not, you really need an identity to share with the world. You need a personal brand so that you can establish credibility, show that you know your stuff, build relationships. This is so critical to your professional success. Showcase your expertise. You are an expert in UX. Your strong brand can pave the road to establishing that. Finally, advance in your career. Maybe you're ready for that promotion. Let your personal brand help guide the way. The bottom line is develop a strong and impactful professional identity. Let's dive into these principles so that you can use the framework that I created to fill in the components to help define your personal brand. Again, if you want a free copy of that framework, all you have to do is type Primal in the chat and I will send that framework over to you. I've already teased at some of these principles, but let's start at the beginning, and that is your origin story. Let's have a bit of fun and look at some old photos of founders starting their companies. Do you know who this is? This is Steve Jobs. How about this one? You may have seen this photo before. This is Bezos starting Amazon. And finally, this one's fun. This is Richard Branson, head of Virgin America. And I kind of feel like he looks like Austin Powers in this photo. Yeah, baby. Funny. Anyway, maybe you've seen these photos and you know that these are founders of huge companies. But what I like about these photos is they help illustrate a person's origin story. So the first principle from Primal Branding of how to establish a powerful brand is to have your origin or your creation story. Steve Bezos' origin story of how he started Amazon was that he started out with selling books. Henry Ford, the famous car maker, started out by killing all the horses so that people would drive cars. No, I'm just kidding. Henry Ford did not kill horses. I'm kidding. What is your origin story? We love to hear about how other people got into UX, right? What makes this profession so cool is that people come from a lot of diverse backgrounds. Some are teachers, some are journalists, some are graphic design, and all of these different professions and many more feed this diverse pool of user experience professionals. Isn't that really cool? I'd love to know where you are coming from. Let me know in the chat where your profession is now. And this does not have to be a long, drawn-out epic. Just share where you came from and how you got here. And some things to consider are, did you come from a challenging situation? If you're comfortable with that, feel free to share that. What lessons have you learned along the way to make you a better UX professional? Did a particular experience push you to become the UX pro that you are today? Jot that down. Was your journey into UX a bumpy ride, or was it smooth sailing? Tell us about that journey. Basically, with your origin story, it's how the hell did you get where you are today? For all of these primal branding elements, you may or may not be sharing them publicly. What I'm asking you to do is to think about them, work through my framework, jot them down so that you know what they are and help to define the story for you. So, for example, off the top of my head, I don't really recall the founder of McDonald's. What's his name? Raymond Kroc. I don't really know what his origin story is, but I know it's a pretty cool one. So, I don't know. Maybe I want to go check that out a little bit later. What is the McDonald's founder's story? Anyways, this is all part of creating a strong personal brand. Have your origin story ready to share with the world if and when the time is right. Let's talk a little bit more about the next primal branding element, and that is creed. What in the heck does creed mean when it comes to a UX personal brand? Well, let me tell you. Your creed is your core values, your beliefs, your principles that guide your actions and your decisions. Basically, it states what you stand for and why that matters. Think of your creed as a mission statement. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about what a mission statement is and how to write one, I have a little video about that. You can check that out after you watch this one. Okay, anyways, for example, in personal branding for a UX researcher, you could cover your philosophy of research, your approaches to research, the process you use to solve problems, the ethical considerations that you have, the overarching goals that you aim to achieve through your work. As a UX designer, some of the elements of your creed could be why you design what you do, how you think about design, and what is important, your design process, and what you do to help the user achieve their goals. And like the UX researcher, you could also talk about your overarching goals that you aim to achieve through your work. Your creed communicates your unique approach to solving UX challenges and enhancing the user's delight. Okay, time out. Maybe you hate that word delight. I see you. Okay, let's change that up. Instead of saying achieving a user's delight, we can talk about helping a user achieve their goal. How about that? Is that a little bit better? Okay. So maybe you're thinking, this sounds a little fancy. I don't want to do this. No, wait, it's okay. You've got this. Don't get too caught up here. Let's break this down a little bit. Let's take a moment to think about the work that you do. Why is UX important to the world? How do you contribute to that? How do you try to fix the problems for the user? How do you help the company try to achieve their goals? Why are you in this profession? Not just for the money. You're not going to say that. You would never say that in a job interview. Well, if you did say that, good luck with getting the job because it probably wouldn't happen. What you're talking about is why it's important to bring the user into the conversation and to help with your design decisions. How do you bring companies closer to helping users achieve their goals? And let's be honest here, how do you help a company make money? Just take a moment. Think about these things. This isn't super hard. It just takes a little bit of time. And you can take that framework that I've made for you to help you reflect. Just type Primal in a chat, and I will send that framework over for you to help define and build out your personal brand. And companies are not the only thing that should have core values and principles. You should too. I'm going to let you in on a little secret sauce. Going through this exercise of defining your creed will not only help your personal brand, but it's also going to help you identify what makes you unique, identify why you're in this profession, say what matters to you as a UX pro, and weed out potential employers that don't align with where you stand. And yes, my friend, this is very important too. Here's an example of a creed from a UX pro. I uncover the hidden patterns in human behavior to design products that feel like they're reading your mind. That's kind of cool, huh? Here's another one. I build digital bridges between business and their customers, creating experiences that transform skeptics into advocates. Ooh, that's kind of cool too. See how this works? These can also be a great starting point for an elevator pitch. Keep that in mind. Before I move on to Primal Brand number 3, I have a quick ask. If you are finding value in the stuff that I'm sharing with you today, please give this video a like. I would really appreciate it. Okay, cool. Now let's move on to Primal Brand element number 3. Okay, this next Primal Brand number 3 will make my designer friends kind of happy, and that is icons. I know that if you are a UX researcher, your design skills might not be the best. I see you, I get it, and that is okay. You can get someone to help you with your icons. Tap into a design friend and have them design an icon for you. Or you can use AI to help you come up with that visual representation. That's okay too. So let me ask you, can you name one major company that does not have a logo? I can't. That visual identity is really important to a business's brand. I'm going to say it would be really nice if you do have an icon, but it's not a deal breaker if you don't have one. It's okay. Oh, wait, I realized something. I didn't define what an icon or a logo is. Let me backpedal a little bit and lay down some basic definition. Icons in Primal Branding are the visual and auditory symbols that represent you, the brand. They can be logos, colors, fonts, they can be even sounds. Icons create instant recognition and they reinforce your identity. But hey, I want to step back for a second and get a little bit creative. Let's get a little bit crazy. Your personal brand icon can go beyond those graphic design elements that I was talking about. Your icon can be your professional demeanor, your communication style, how you present your UX work and your research findings or whatever that might be. Presenting that helps contribute to your icons or your visual identity. The key here is being consistent, using the same kind of fonts and colors. Don't go all over the place. Be consistent. That helps conform your brand. Again, I'm not saying you must have a logo, but I will say it doesn't hurt to have one. Even if you don't have that logo, think about what your look and feel is. What colors do you think represent you? Are you bold colors like a bright pink flamingo? Or are you more subtle colors like green and the outdoors because being outdoors resonates with you? Or are you more the strict black turtleneck, traditional designer stereotype like Steve Jobs used to have? All of those are okay. Just know what colors resonate with you and stick with those and kind of establish a color palette. Also, think about what fonts that you like. Now, the geeky designer in me could really go down a rabbit hole with fonts and visual design, but nope, that is not the point today. We are not going to go there. All I'm asking for is to take a moment and think about what your look and feel is. You could even test this out. We are UX folks. Maybe run your visual identity across another designer and get their input on the direction of your visual brand. But if you are a researcher and you're worried about not having fantastic graphic design skills, just remember that your icon and your visual identity can come out in different ways. Like I said, how you present your research findings in your work. It also could come out in your portfolio and how you create content online. The bottom line is the icon you choose for your personal brand reinforces your professionalism and your expertise in the UX world. Take a little bit of time and explore what works for you. Let me walk through the logo that I created for BlatzChatz. Now, I'll be fully transparent. I come from a design background, so I kind of know a bit about fonts, colors, hierarchy, that sort of thing. But I want to show you my process. The first thing I did was sketch out some ideas, just a brain dump of some different directions. Then I played around with some concepts. And then finally, I got the logo that you see now on YouTube. Now, my hot tip for you is to not get too caught up in this phase. Don't do it. Don't get sucked into that analysis paralysis and swirl where you think, I gotta create the perfect logo. No, you don't. Don't waste your time here. You can always go back later and change the logo. It's not set in stone. So just be mindful that I want you to take a little bit of time here, but just don't let it suck the life out of you. Now let's talk about the fourth principle in primal branding, and that is rituals. No, I'm not asking you to burn virgins at the stake. Not asking that. When it comes to primal branding, rituals are the repeated behaviors or actions that you do. These reinforce your identity and your values. They're how you interact with others. They are how you show up. When it comes to companies, rituals create a sense of familiarity in the communities that follow them. So when you go to Starbucks, do you know the difference between a venti and a demi? If you get your coffee there, I'm sure that you do. When it comes to UX research and personal branding, rituals are our behaviors that define our research process and our methodologies. So it's things like the way that you engage with your stakeholders. It might even be your presentation style. It's how you plan and facilitate stellar workshops. It's the environment you create for your participants and for your stakeholders when you conduct research. As a UX designer, your rituals or routines or your methods are how you apply your UX process. How do you solve a user's problem? How are you using data to inform your decisions in design? Are you creating prototypes? What are your collaboration methods when it comes to working with your team? What do you do that makes you stand out as a UX professional? Maybe you can even ask your colleagues or your friends, what are some of the activities and behaviors that you have? They can help you identify what your rituals are. Again, knowing what we do well is important to showcasing the value that we bring as a UX professional. So here is a pro tip. Write down your rituals every week. Take a little reflection journal and write down the things that you have accomplished and that you have done. And then they're ready for you in a written format when you need to share them out. Trust me, it's easier if you take a moment and record what you do along the way rather than trying to pull from memory what are some of the activities and these rituals that you have done through the years. Write them down. There's your pro tip. So this is all part of building your personal brand. You're keeping a tally of your experiences so that you're ready to showcase. So here's an example of my ritual. Almost every Monday, I post a new video to YouTube. My videos cover personal perspectives and insights I have on user experience and professional development. I also post interviews with other user experience pros. My hope is that maybe sometimes my videos are a little bit entertaining, but what I'm really trying to do is to give you a nugget of information that you could apply to your challenges and your UX work in the future. The next primal brand element I want to share is a pagan. What do we mean by pagans? Are we supposed to have like voodoo dolls that we stick pins in of our enemies? No, I don't think so. Pagans are simply your non-believers. They are not your community, not your followers, not your audience. Pagans, according to the book Primal Brand, are the people who do not share your values and your beliefs. I know what you're thinking. Oh, I'm just a person. Why would I have pagans? I'm not somebody famous. All right, I hear you. What the book is stating basically is understand that there are going to be people who do not follow you, who do not love you. Believe me, there are plenty of folks who are not a fan of mine, and they are not a fan of BlatzChatz, and I am okay with that. And you need to be okay with people who are not your fan as well. But for personal brand, I want to flip this idea from the book a little bit. I want to think of pagans as the people who are your biggest fans, the people who do follow you, and those who support you along the way. Let's think of pagans as your biggest fans. And I want to think of it this way because I want you to think about those folks who are promoting your message and promoting you. They could be promoting you in a meeting at work. These non-UX folks who are advocating for the importance of having user experience as a consideration when products and features are built. Outside of your job, you can think of these pagans, or your biggest fans are the ones who are sharing your work. Like, for example, when you're creating content, writing on social media, these are the ones that give you comments, give you likes, and share with other people. So what do those pagans have in common with you that help to establish a community around you? And all of these things, these people who follow you and trust you and enjoy you, these are all part of your personal brand. It's all connected. I would say, like for me personally, my pagans, my biggest fans, are the ones who understand that I am silly. They understand I'm going to fucking curse like a sailor sometimes. They know that I keep things real and I'm honest. And they also know my shortcomings, like technical difficulties. I am sure I'm going to have some technical difficulties with this video today. It always happens. Whatever. I want to share a funny quote with you. Friends are people who know you really well and like you anyway. Woo! Thank goodness I have some friends despite my flaws. I appreciate that. In my interpretation of Primal Brand, pagans are those people who love you despite your flaws. And when you identify who you are, your creed and your rituals, you'll be able to see your pagans and those people who follow you because of these things. Okay, so the next primal brand that Patrick Hanlon talks about in his book, number 6, is sacred words. What? So earlier you explored your creed. Now you can express that in some sacred words. It's kind of like coming up with a slogan. Let's look at those catchphrases from earlier. Just do it. The happiest place on earth. Think different. These sound familiar to you, right? These are the sacred words or the quick summaries for a company. Sometimes they're called mission statements or vision statements. Sacred words are the key terms, phrases, slogans that encapsulate your brand. A brand uses them consistently to reinforce that messaging. Keep in mind these are short and to the point, very pithy. We're not looking for paragraphs here, folks. Try to get it to one phrase, short and sweet. Think of it as a tagline or a service mark. Here's where you could say some of those sacred words in your LinkedIn profile or your headline, in your elevator pitch, in your biography, or in your messages, like say when you want to articulate your expertise or your strengths or your unique value when it comes to the UX profession. Basically, sacred words are what you say and what you write about yourself. You want to define your unique value proposition, UVP, when it comes to UX. What sets you apart from other professionals? So here's some examples for a UX researcher. Let me read these to you. I align fintech product teams around a strategy for continuous improvement. Now I know these are a little bit longer. It's a little harder to come up with a unique selling point or phrase about you that's as short as just do it. So it's okay, they're a little longer than what some of those taglines are, but bear with me. Let's go through some more examples. I surface insights from research and provide actionable recommendations. I remove ambiguity and reduce risk for retail product teams. I define design direction and clarity through usability testing. Okay, cool. Let's look at some examples for what a UX designer might say. I create designs that make financial planning approachable. My designs align key business objectives to the top user needs in the healthcare space. Again, the bottom line is you want to keep it short and sweet. Sort of like an elevator pitch, under 30 seconds, but it is specific enough to you that really describes who you are. Finally, let's talk about the last primal brand element, and that is leader. Well, that's an easy one. You are the leader when it comes to your personal brand. You've already explored a lot of this through your creed, your origin story, your sacred words. And in some ways, I think the leader aspect of primal brand, it might apply more to a company a little bit, but it can apply to your personal brand as well. The leader is the charismatic figure or embodiment of a brand and its values and its vision. Leaders inspire others, drive innovation, and shape the future of that brand. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. I am not a leader like that, Jen. This is weird. I can't do this. Yes, you can. Just wait. You can do this. You need to think of yourself as the leader of your personal brand. It's that simple. As a leader in the UX space, your goal is to inspire and influence the industry. Maybe. You can demonstrate thought leadership through speaking engagements, mentorship, content creation. You can position yourself as a thought leader in UX by sharing your insights, your case studies, your best practices. You can write through LinkedIn blog posts or creating a video or just sharing stories. You can host webinars. Again, you could speak at conferences or local organizations. There are a lot of ways for you to establish your leadership by getting yourself out there. That is the whole point of a personal brand. You have to get yourself out there. Okay? If you don't feel comfortable as a leader just yet, you can start small. Post something on LinkedIn. I have a little template. Let me read it to you. I'm thinking about insert a topic of your choice. Let's say using AI for jobs to be done. Let's say that's my topic. I am thinking about using AI with jobs to be done. What do you think about this? What is your point of view? I am excited to learn different perspectives. So please share your experience when it comes to using AI with jobs to be done. See? Starting out small. It's totally doable. I really believe that UX folks have really interesting perspectives and different points of view that you should be sharing with the world. What is yours? What can you talk about to illustrate your leadership through your personal brand? Think about how your leadership builds influence and strengthens your personal brand and contributes to advancing the field of UX. Okay, so what if like public speaking is not really your thing? Again, you can showcase your leadership by offering mentorships to junior researchers and designers. You can demonstrate your leadership and work through your work ethic, your professionalism, your commitment to excellence in user experience. You can deliver high quality results on your projects and by positively collaborating on these projects. These are other ways that you can show your leadership in your personal brand. I'll be honest, building a personal brand is not going to happen overnight. It is consistent behavior and it's a little bit of a marathon. You're doing it over time. And one more final reminder, you can flesh out your personal brand by downloading my free framework by typing Primal in the chat. I'll send it your way. This helps you to go through the questions and come up with your own approach to your personal brand. You fill this in and it helps you to form your direction toward defining your personal brand. I know there's only 7 elements from the book Primal Branding, but I have a bonus one for you, and that is call to action. Think about it. With any experience or any brand, there's usually some sort of call to action, something the consumer should do based on that brand. What should the consumer of you do next? You've thrown your personal brand out there. Now what? Are they supposed to hire you? Are they supposed to follow you on social media? Are they supposed to buy some product from you or some online course? In some respects, you are selling some aspect of you. And you don't need to be very specific about the ask or the call to action per se, but I want you to think about, what do you want that consumer of your brand to do? Maybe right now you want to increase your social media presence. That's fine. Your call to action can actually change as time goes on, or from post to post. That's okay. But I want you to think about, I'm putting my brand out there. What do I want people to do about me? So there you have it. I've read Primal Brand, so you don't have to. And I took the major principles from that book and applied it to the user experience profession. And I gave you a bonus of, think about how you want the consumer of your brand to act on you. So let's revisit very briefly all 7 principles from Primal Brand before we wrap up today. Origin story. This is your origin or creation story. How did you get into UX? Creed. This is your core values, beliefs, and principles that guide your actions and your decisions. Basically, it states what you stand for and why that matters. The creed digs deep into the why this is important to you. Icons are the visual symbols or auditory symbols that represent you, the brand. They can be logos, colors, fonts, sounds. They create instant recognition and reinforce your identity. In UX research, it might be a little less about your visual representation, but more about how you show up in the workplace or in your conversations. Rituals are the repeated behaviors and actions that you take. They can be aligned to your methodologies and your approaches, and you can share these through case studies, blogs, other social media content. It doesn't just demonstrate your expertise, but it also engages your UX community. Pagans, according to the book, they're kind of your not followers, but remember, we flipped it around and we talked about pagans being your number 1 fans. These are the people who support you, who are your allies, and who will promote you when you are not in the room. And when you engage with the community, again, through content creation and networking, this strengthens your pagan community. Sacred words are the key messages that encapsulate your expertise and your value proposition as far as being a UX professional. And the leader is you. It's the figure of the brand's values and vision. The leader inspires others, and it shapes the brand's future direction. As a leader in the UX world, your goal could be to inspire others and to influence the direction of the industry. You can showcase your thought leadership through speaking engagements, mentorship, sharing content. And then finally, my bonus that I added is call to action. And this is what you want the consumer of your brand to do next. Now, I want to wrap up with, what are you supposed to do with all this information I shared with you today? Well, start by filling out that framework that I can send your way after you write Primal in a comment. Start there. This framework is to help you get organized and get laser focused on defining your personal brand. It's kind of a shortcut. Okay, you define your personal brand, then what? Well, you need to share it with the world. You need to be producing some content and getting yourself out there. There's no point in having a personal brand if no one sees it. That's why it's a brand. And I've talked about a few approaches of how you can get your personal brand out there by sharing your stories, creating content, speaking at conferences, those sort of things. You want to document your rituals so that you can have your stories kind of forming along so that you can share along as you build out your personal brand. Did you know that sharing your perspective can help others who might be going through some of the same issues that you are? So when it comes to your personal brand, I want you to think about your unique point of view, your unique experiences, your unique processes, and how all of those can help identify your personal brand. What are those key differentiators in the world that make you different from every other UX pro out there? What makes you special? So whether you're looking to advance in your own career or find a new job or even deepen your impact on the UX community, understanding and applying branding principles like the ones I went through today can help build your personal brand. And this is key. If you like what I shared about personal brand today and you want me to go a little bit deeper, let me know in a comment below. But until next time, thank you for watching BlatzChatz. Bye.